welcome back, welcome to my channel. My name is Tori, and today I have the finale for the 101 pans. This was created by Liz, whose Instagram sadly no longer exists. So she's the creator. This was started September 13th, 2019 and ends December 31st, 2020. I'm ending a little bit early, but if you watched my last video, my last update for this project, you're not surprised. We're gonna talk about what pans are new, and then I'm gonna go over all the pans I hit during this project, and then show you what still doesn't have pan. So the first pan for this update came from the Pastel Goth palette. Surprise, surprise. It came in the shade Meow. So Meow's pan was hit on the 25th of November. Very nice. We love that. And then the second newest pan is from the Urban Decay Beached palette, and it is the shade 16th. Now this is a really tiny pan, so it is hard to tell. And that was hit on the 30th of November. So overall in this project, I hit 43 pans out of 101. I guess I'll talk about it as I show you the pans I did hit. Let's do that. So from the Urban Decay Jean Basquiat palette, I hit pans in the shade Enigma and Crown. I think that I did great for the items that were like in double projects or just cohesive with my other projects. I hit pan in ColourPop's Roy G. Biv. Yeah, I think I was overly ambitious because I tend to be, and just wanted to hit pan in literally all my old palettes. This is LA Colors Baby Pop Eyeshadow in Purple Rain. And I think I did good in hitting pan in some stuff, especially if it was in both in 2 or more projects, but I think I didn't think things out properly. From the Lorac Free Spirit palette, I hit pan in the 3rd shade right here. I was trying to hit pan in the 5th one before this update, but you know, that didn't happen. From Subculture, I hit pan in New Wave. My palette is reorganized. So yeah, I would never do a project like this again. Too overly ambitious for me. From the ColourPop Zodiac palette, I hit pan in Virgo. My hopes were high. My ambition was high, but it doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. I hit pan in Virgin. As My Rabbit Bangs on the Cage. From the Naked 3, I hit pan in Blackheart. I think it did help me for some items, but like not all of them. From the Kristen Leanne palette, I hit pan in Spitfire. If I picked like all of the like an easy formula like the Lorac, maybe I would have had great success. For this palette, I hit pan in Pink Peony and then I used it up. I hit pan in Foam. I hit pan in, where are you? Pearl Slate. I hit pan in, I hit pan in Shadow, and I hit pan in Dark Chocolate. So it was great for some palettes where the formula was, you know, easier, but not for all of them. Like it wasn't the best. From this palette, I hit pan in Safe Word from the Androgyny palette, Androgyny from the Androgyny palette, Divine from the Thirsty palette. Too ambitious for me, just too ambitious. I hit pan in Heaven from the Too Faced Natural Matte palette. I hit pan in Smoothie from the Lorac Mega Pro Brunch palette. I hit pan in Mimosa, Moonlight, and I think that's it from here. Like, I get why I did this. I know my intentions behind it, but like, it was a lot. Urban Decay's Sinful. I mean, that's not Sinful, sorry. This is Seen. This one is Sinful. And then I will list off the pans I hit from palettes that are no longer... Wait, no, that's a lie. I have 3 more to talk about before I talk about the palettes that are no longer in my possession. We have Sorbet, Valet. Oh, French Toast was in here? French Toast, See, I don't even remember some of the items that were in this project. And then 10K. The eyeshadows that are no longer in my collection include the shades Heartbreaker and BFF, which came from like the Tarte Mini Tease palette, if I believe correctly. The 3 shades I picked from my QKI palette, which included a silver shimmer, a cool tone purple, and a light pink, were all, I had panned 2 of them and then decluttered the whole palette. An orange shimmer and a light purple shimmer from the La Mila palette. Both of those pans were hit, and then I decluttered that palette. Love Letter, Antique Bronze, and Cypress Umber from a dupe ABH Mono Renaissance palette where I hit pan on all of them and then decluttered them. Fierce from the Tarte Tartus Pro palette was decluttered, and then Warm Taupe from the ABH palette Mono Renaissance was hit pan and decluttered. So everything that is remaining in this project to get this guy out of my sight, I wanted to hit pan on Eggs Benny, Avocado Toast, Hot Sauce, and Bloody Mary. So pretty much on the rest of the Lorac Pro Brown Shadows I wanted to hit pan on. It didn't happen. Next, Pastel Goth, I wanted to hit pan on every single other shade of this palette and only hit pan on Meow. Not surprised by this. This is overly ambitious. I don't reach for this every day. How was this, you know, I wasn't thinking. Happy Meow got pan though. We'll say that. From the Kathleen Lights Kristen Leanne palette. Oh my gosh. I wanted to hit pan on Brixton, LCW, and Dye. LCW was never gonna happen because this shade is like overflowing. Like they filled that pan up too much, so it already has more shadow than a typical Urban Decay shadow. Brixton could have happened, and Dye possibly could have happened, but I just didn't put this palette in rotation. You know, it happens. The Naked 3 palette, I wanted to hit pan on Dust, Burnout, and Liar. I feel like if I tried harder, Burnout could have happened. That dip is actually really nice. Dust wasn't going to happen, and then Liar wasn't going to happen. I don't wear bronzes that much, so very ambitious of me. Next, from the Naked palette, I wanted to hit pan on Sidecar, Smog, and Creep. I feel like that this wasn't too overly ambitious. I have a great dip on Sidecar, as you can tell on camera, but this was a palette that, I mean, as you can see, I hit pan in Hustle and Sin. Maybe I wish I just, instead of trying to hit more pans in it, put the shades that I was already focusing on in other palettes in, like, other projects in this project. Like, this project would have been the perfect project to overlap stuff, because it's 101. Even if I overlapped every single eyeshadow in my project, I would still need to pull in shadows that aren't in projects. So, like, I don't know why I didn't do that. From the Zodiac palette, I did one new hit pan in Gemini. I, like, never used it during this project. I just never did. Some of these shadows that were supposed to be used during this project are going to projects for next year. Not all of them. From Subculture, I did want to hit pan in Mercury. Didn't happen. I wasn't reaching for a cool tone taupe like that. Just not really its time for it. For the Lorac Free Spirit palette, I wanted to hit pan in a lot. I wanted to hit pan in 1, 2, 5, 6, and 8. If I put this palette into rotation, maybe it would have happened, but I never did that. So how was it supposed to happen? I felt like this project would have been great for someone who wasn't a hardcore panner. Like, if you were just starting out panning or only in 1 or 2 other projects, I think this project would have been great. But for someone like me who is in like 6 to 7 projects at a time, doing a project like this with them is too much. Even doing 6 or 7 is kind of a little too much. But this definitely was just, it was too much. From the Naked Heat palette, I'm going to hit pan on Chaser, Scorched. Yeah, Chaser and Scorched. I haven't touched this palette pretty much like all year. That's not even just because of this project. I just generally haven't touched this palette all year. So that's just a shame on me part, pretty much. The Lorac palette, I did fail with 1 shade. I failed with, where are you? I failed with Misty Mauve. It had a nice dip. If I just used it in my lower lash line like 2 times, it would have happened, but I just couldn't be bothered. Some of the singles, Urban Decay's 1985. This one would have been a hard one anyway, but I wish I used it at least a couple times. That would have been nice. LA Colors in Forbidden. I tried really hard with this one. Has a nice dip. This will eventually go into a project next year, but not for the moment. LA Colors Matte Eyeshadow in Crushed. Barely used it. Let's get some singles out of the way. Is this it? Yep. Makeup Geeks Frap. Nice dip, but no pan. And then Makeup Geeks Cosmopolitan. Nice dip, but no pan. We also have some other Jeffree shades. I'm just going to pick up this whole palette. I wanted to hit pan on Parched. That didn't happen. And I wanted to hit pan in this shade called Snatched, and it didn't happen. Oh wait, I lied. I have one more on this side. And I wanted to hit pan on Stroke. It didn't happen. I just wasn't using these shades. I was focusing on what was in projects, and they weren't, you know, they weren't in projects. Next, I was focusing on Honey Butter from the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette. It does have a nice dip. This is another one that I was hoping possibly to hit pan on, but it just didn't happen. Take a shot every time I say didn't happen. Intoxicated. From the William Marina Me trio, I wanted to hit pan on the crease shade. Didn't happen, but you know. If you see my other videos, you know what that is this year, so I'm not concerned about it. From the Plushies Freshly Squeezed Quad, I wanted to hit pan on Mango and Jackfruit. This palette was like never in rotation, so how's it, you know, like how's it gonna happen if it's not in rotation? Oh, there's one more big eyeshadow that was in this project. I almost forgot about it. Don't know how I could. It's giant. The M846 shade. Has a nice dip going, but pan would not have happened. Next, Meet Matrimony palette. I was focusing on Thomas Lopez and the purple one. I really should learn how to pronounce that, but I can't be bothered at the moment. It's late at night. It's got great use on them, but not pan. From the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, these shades Satin Sheets and Mocha. I wish I picked the like the pink shades in this palette because they've gotten use, so the goal probably would have been hit, but I didn't. From the Venus palette, I picked these shades Rebirth and Shell. In the beginning of this project, I was really focusing on them, and then I put this palette away and it has not come out since, so if I kept it in, it could have happened, but I didn't allow myself. And then the last items all come from my Makeup Forever Lustrous Eyeshadow Palette. I wanted to hit pan on pretty much every single shade, but the black and I think the khaki green, that didn't happen. These pans are deep. That wasn't going to happen unless I wore that whole palette every single day. Overall, I learned that this is not a type of project for me. I cannot do projects like this. Kind of similar to like pan those eyeshadows. I do not think I could do projects like that. Yes, I focus and I pan a lot of eyeshadows in my projects, but I allow myself to wear different makeup every single day. It's rare, besides my Pan That palettes, to see me focusing on one shade for a various amount of time. I finally just panned a look this past November and December because 2 eyeshadows had goals that were like 30 days and one was 49 days, I think. Not 49, just straight up 40 days. So I had to pretty much pan a look for like 40 days. And even though, like, even with panning a look for 40 days, I switched it up every single day. The only thing that stayed the same were the Target eyeshadows. And I kind of enjoyed it, but not really that much. Like, I enjoyed it because I knew I had to do it, but I would not want to do that with every single eyeshadow I'm focusing on. And this is definitely a project where it was like, I should have paired all these eyeshadows together or made sure that they were in multiple different projects, and like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I am happy though that I did end up hitting 43 pans, 43 new pans that I didn't have in my collection before, so always grateful for that. But yeah, now I know just to not do projects like this. I've seen a lot of people be very successful with this project pan, especially my Instagram based project panners that I follow. And I'm very happy that it's successful for them, but just for me, it's not the recipe I can use. It's not the recipe for success for me. And also, because of projects like these, I have just used up less eyeshadow than I typically do, and I rather be using up eyeshadow completely than just hitting pan on them and putting them away. I feel like that pretty much sums up how I feel about this project. It's fine that this one's a fail. It's fine that this one is not a 50% success rate. It bombed just like 2020 bombed. Like, it's just, they're riding the same wave. It's understandable. Even if this was an ideal 2020, I still don't think this would have happened. I don't know, I don't want to end this video being negative, but it's like, this just didn't work for me. If this works for you, fantastic. I'm so happy for you. But I just personally can't do it, you know? So yeah. If you want to stick around and see Project Pan finales that are actually more successful, don't forget to check out all the other videos on my channel. And if you enjoy me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that jazz. And hope you have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. And peace out, Girl Scout.